We
Okay.
don't discriminate about what extraterrestrial stories we hear on the show or what paranormal stories.
All
The
right.
important thing is that it's para, not normal.
That's super. That's very welcoming. Okay, so about 8 years ago, I was a freshman in college, and I was taking a Gothic literature class. And Gothic literature is like the spooky stuff, right? And my teacher was
Crimson Peak.
Crimson Peak, like very turn of the screw, a lot of Shirley Jackson kind of stuff. So I was taking this class, and I was a child. All right, so I was a child, and I wanted extra credit. And I had heard that Dahlgren music, or not Dahlgren, Broadbeck Music Hall was the most haunted building on campus. So Broadbeck Music Hall is now it's used, I guess, as like the music department in Hood College. It's a 2-story brick building. Apparently it's also the oldest building on campus, and it used to be a building downtown in downtown Frederick. And so Broadbeck had a history of being a brothel, a vaudeville music hall, a brothel again, and then somebody's house and then it was used as like a multi-purpose venue in like the early 20th century as like, and there was like church and stuff there. And then it got relocated to the Hood College campus. I don't know how long ago, probably in the early 20th century, mid 20th century. I don't remember. My memory is hazy. College was a blur.
That's all right. As long as this night is crystal clear.
Oh, so I was very, so I decided that I brought in friends to do like a exposing the secrets of Broadbeck Hall, like video for my class, because I really wanted to get on this. I just wanted extra credit, and I really wanted to be a super achiever. And so we went at 3 a.m. We went at like, we figured that was the spookiest time to go. It was like me and 4 other people with our like dinky 10-year-old, I guess, like iPhone cameras, I think. And we were like Broadbeck isn't haunted. And we were going to cut it to just be like just a goofy 5-minute video to be like, Broadbeck's not haunted. Y'all are chumps.
So you went in to disprove it. You went in as skeptic.
Yeah, we were like, this is dumb. But like, it was super up our teacher's alley. And then I had dressed up my friend as a ghost to be like, this is a fake ghost. And so we had her like running around this hall. We had gotten full permission. So we didn't do this, like, we got full permission from facilities to do this.
You did not commit a crime. You did not break into the building.
Did not commit a crime. If like anybody from is watching.
So there's no reason to try to discredit this story. You can't say Amber George has a criminal record. They cannot. You cannot trust their word.
So Broadbeck has a basement, a ground floor with a music hall, and then a top floor with access to like basically like a top pew area for the music hall. So what happened to us that night was we spent about an hour just wandering around this spooky old building. Half the lights weren't turning on. We didn't know. We figured like that was like part of it's like when it gets shut down at night, like they turn off like a breaker or something to save electricity because it was really old and the wiring was bad.
Right. It's part of its charm.
And it was like in November, I think, because it was kind of cold. And so then at the end of the night, we started hearing like shuffling from upstairs, and we were all in like the one music hall because we were getting really bored because it was like 4 a.m. And we hear
still
shuffling.
hadn't experienced anything.
Yeah, we hadn't experienced anything. We were just like dumb college kids sitting in this music hall. And it's a big old music hall, super echoey. And then so that was like adding to like our heightened sense of fear. But we started hearing shuffling, I swear to God, coming from above in the pew area. And we were like, "Aw, Who's up there? Who's taking a pee? Nobody, we were all in the same area. All right. And so we started hearing all these weird like shuffling sounds, like people moving stuff. And we were like, okay, we're getting kind of spooked. We're all like 12 years old or 18, whatever. And so we were getting like kind of freaked out. So we tried to send somebody up there and he straight up wouldn't. And so he went up to like, and then we were like, okay, we'll go up with you. And then a door had been locked that we didn't lock. And I swear to God, we were sober. And we were like, okay, this is kind of freaky. Maybe it locked behind us. So then we make our way downstairs. We're all kind of we're like kind of freaking out because we're like, okay, like who locked this door? And nobody in our group had the time to lock the door. And we knew that we were the only people there because facilities doesn't run checks that late. And so we had like all the lights on. So like facilities could have seen us and like knew what we were doing. And
right. So, and you talked to them beforehand.
And we had like talked. Yeah. And so we get down, it's like, we had like turned our iPhones off at this point. Cause we were like, okay, it's time to go. Like we're done. But then we hear, and so we're like all trying to turn off the lights, but nobody wants to go alone anymore to to turn off lights. So we all move as like a unit of fish swimming through this old house. And we go to turn off like we go to like try to close the big music hall doors. And then somebody screams. And so we all turn our heads because like the one person had like tried to lock. And then there's, I swear to God, like a black hoop skirt, Cliff, like passes like by the door, like the curve of like a hoop skirt we see moving past this door in the bright like electric light at 4 a.m. I swear we all saw it. And we said, okay, it's time to go. But we all shrieked and ran out without locking anything. And so we had to go back in and like relock everything. And we didn't see anything. But we all saw what I swear was a ghost, was this lady in a black dress walking past in this hall.
Oh my goodness.
And it was so cool and it was so scary. And then
that's really like a Crimson Peak moment.
I know, it was so cool. And then we later asked around, because I wanted to know like what was up.
Has anybody else
seen this? And
we just thought it was a phony, a big old hoax.
There's a kid named Herman who had spent a night in Broadbeck as like a ghost thing, and he also had seen a lady in black, and we found this out afterward. And so he had seen her too, and he like stopped talking about it. He was like, yeah, I've seen her. And then he literally left me in the like he just turned and left. And so Broadbeck Hall in Hood College, super haunted, and it was the first time I've ever seen like a real ghost. It's the craziest story I have.
Well, definitely thanks. First, I want to say thanks for having me on. I'm a huge fan of the show, long-time watcher, first-time contributor, I guess.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad to have a first-time caller in.
Well, I guess I just wanted to tell you guys about this experience I had when I was camping a number of years ago, and it's essentially the thing that got me interested in the paranormal, and it's just a really powerful, like impactful memory that kind of got me into all this. And all right, well, it's pretty it has a lot of cliches in it. But I guess that's why these things happen, is because I must have been maybe 10 years old or so, and we were camping in like southern Illinois near a place called Bass Lake. Middle of nowhere, tiny little Stillwater lake. The whole place smelled kind of weird. But the thing is that we were camping together, me, my dad, his best friend, these two amazing gay guys that helped to raise me and my brothers, just, and we'd been doing this for many, many years. And we would all sit around the campfire, do our thing with making amazing food and stuff like that. And this would carry on into the wee hours of the night. But one day, one of the crew, who was kind of known for being a little silly, kind of the guy that joked around and everything, he walked off to go, go take care of his business. And even though he's kind of a serious guy, he was joking. He liked to joke and have a good time, but he didn't like to prank people or anything. That wasn't what he did. But all of a sudden, he starts screaming, "Guys, look up at the sky!" And me and my brother, we thought like maybe there's a helicopter, or maybe like there's a really cool like sky formation, because we'd been camping before and we saw something that looked a lot like the aurora borealis. Right? It's a very rare phenomenon, but it doesn't always happen there. And so we thought it was like something cool. We didn't think it would be something life-changing. And it turned out it was this strange kind of semi-pulsating light that just sat there in the sky for a few moments, but it was kind of moving, but like in a straight sort of position. But it didn't really, there wasn't any other tail lights. It was just this very strange, ominous glowing, and it kind of drifted for a while. We were all watching it. It didn't, we've been camping so much that, and we all are big fans of science in my house. So we all know how the stars and how like different planes and stuff like that looks. It didn't look anything like anything we'd ever seen, even to this day. And then it was there for a few moments and it just disappeared. It was just gone. And I mean, it's a really simple, dumb story maybe to some, but to this day, me and my brothers, it's one of those very important memories that always makes you kind of question the narrative. And
absolutely.
It's always made me want to know more. And things like when you talk about your stories, or like there was a story of the Chilean government or something that reached out because they had all these strange things that had happened in the sky. And it's just it's just something that it's my own personal experience.
Yeah, that is, and that's incredible, because this is why we have the show, to make these kind of connections with folks and to get these stories out there. But here's a question I've always had with it, because I've never encountered something like this. When you say that it disappeared entirely, would you say it disappeared like it almost looked like it like flew off really fast, or it was like a light turning off?
I remember having the idea that it was something like it looked like it was like it had a lot of speed, but at the same time it's like something in Star Trek, like it's where when it goes and does its faster than light thing,
right?
It just looks like it's just gone,
I guess that is
so mysterious, because if it was like a weather balloon, it would have like slowly drifted off or something, it would have had a certain us humans, we're good at, if nothing else, we're good at pattern recognition, or most of us. But it violated its own pattern. It was just gone.
And was this happening at night? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah. It was pretty late at night, maybe 1 or 2 in the morning or something like that.
But even when it's that late at night, if you've got something in the air that's got a light on it and the light goes out, you can usually still make out the shape of something up there, just because like being up that late, you've developed that kind of like night vision. You can at least recognize the shape. If it's gone, there's nothing left when the light goes out.
Exactly. And it was a night that was really beautiful. There was a ton of stars out. So, sometimes when you have kind of that ambient light, there was definitely a glow. So, if there was an outline, if whatever light source on a hang glider died out, you know, we would have been able to see some more details, but the light was bright enough that it really obscured the shape of most of like what was going on, and then it just disappeared in a flash, or not a flash. It just, you know, just turned into a void. It was just like there was nothing, like it was never there at all.
Right. And what's fascinating about this too, we've been talking about the past 2 weeks, and like you said, you're a long time watcher. You're probably aware these connections between unidentified flying objects and life beneath the sea. This is happening at a lake in Illinois.
The plot thickens for sure. It's amazing. I guess that's another part of the pattern, isn't it?
Absolutely. You not only have witnessed an unidentified flying object, but it's over a lake. It could very well be these water babies.
Well, I guess I met one in a way. That's pretty awesome.
Here's a question before you go. If you could buy the ranch next to Area 51, what would you do with it?
I would definitely, I would maybe turn it into like a rival observatory. The last thing that they would want at Area 51 would be a giant observatory, right?
Right.
So I'd probably do that. Just if we all had the ability to, you know, to fulfill our dreams, it would.
There you go.
Definitely be my little way to dig back at the government for hiding things for so long.
Yeah, stick it to the man there.
That's good.
We're all in favor of this strategy.
Well,
here.
Thank you guys so much for having me on. It's been really great talking about that story. I really don't talk about it very much because, you know, it's a great way to weird people out, maybe. But this is the environment for that.
Some would say it alienates them, but yes, this is the perfect environment. This is the place to share those stories.
So that one was a little bit creepy. So I have one that's a little bit more, a little scarier story. This happened about 10 years ago, and I was living in Columbia, Maryland, and I was in my bedroom with my then at the time girlfriend, and during the middle of the night, I woke up in the middle of the night, and I could hear her voice mixed with like another man's voice, like it was like the two voices were kind of like doing the same thing. And it was coming from the...
Having an affair. You woke up and heard she was having an affair, you're saying?
No. It was just like the two voices were like mixed together. I could hear like both voices, but it's like what she was saying and what the guy was saying. It was like the same... It was like two people saying the same thing.
Okay.
So it was like one voice, one set of words, but two voices.
Okay, all right.
And so I heard this coming from the hallway. And so I woke up thinking like, oh, there's some kind of struggle. There's something like going on. Am I going to have to go and do something? But then, so I woke up like looking to the right because that's where all the noises were coming from. But then she was still in the bed with me to the left. But all the noises and her voice was coming from the right, from the hallway. So when I realized what was happening, I saw her like writhing and kind of something, you know, she wasn't feeling too good. And I woke her up. And she told me, she was like, thank God you woke me up. Like, I felt like I was getting possessed.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like,
what else has she said about that? Was that it, or?
Well, so in the dream, when she said she's just being possessed, she was like in a room, and they said it was almost like they were closing the door. It was like almost like a Rosemary's Baby type situation where there was like a bunch of people that put her like in a room, and they were closing the door. And like in the room was like the thing that was coming to get her. And they were like closing the door on her. And then she said like, I woke her up like just before the door was closed.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was pretty scary.
And that, what you heard, it sounds like you heard her voice in the hallway away from you, almost perhaps on its way out.
Yeah. I don't know if they were in the process of trying to take her or whatever was going on, but it was mixed. It was definitely mixed with like a much deeper, like a man's voice. And so
you heard her and you saved her soul.
I think so. And then like we were both pretty freaked out. So the next day we went to like downtown to Washington D.C. and we went to like, you know, downtown like Chinatown, and like they sell different kinds of stuff down in Chinatown.
You went to the Exorcist stairs and you pushed her down them just to...
I was like, if you can survive this, then you're okay.
Right.
But no, we went to like a shop.
Not a devil in you.
We went to like a shop that just sold all kinds of weird little things, and we were like, anything could help. Like anything could help. And so I was talking to the guy that worked there, and he sold me this little, it's like a mirror. It was about like the size of like a big mason jar cap. And he said for you to like hang the mirror like on top of the bedroom door.
All right.
And it's supposed to help ward off like the bad energy. And so I was like, okay. I was like, I'll take it. And I put it up, and we didn't have any kind of issues after that.
Wow. Well,
So it could have been a one-time thing, or maybe the thing the guy gave me, maybe that helped. I don't know, but it's a strange situation.
So I've actually wanted to talk to you about this for a while. I lived in, I want to say it was a haunted house.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was like a haunted house, like, you know, there was a ghost in it, but maybe there was a poltergeist. But there was all these warning signs prior to going in there. It was in Frostburg, Maryland. I was living up there, and I have a friend who's a mutual friend of yours, Cliff, and his name is Steve. And he actually used to hang out in that house with me a lot. And my first day moving into the house, I opened up a drawer and a desk that was left there, and it said something like, "What a beautiful yellow brick house. It seems like a blessing. It's more like a curse." And immediately I was like, oh man, this place is spooky. But it didn't seem that bad. Everything seemed cool. So I set up all my stuff, and then within the first day moving in, my legs started itching really bad. I had like this insane itching over my whole body. Found out that the people who lived there prior to me had a bunch of cats, and they had fleas. So they had to flea bomb the place before I could move back in. They had to take all the carpets out, which really spooked the spirits that I'm about to tell you about. I'm just building you up for it. So I went home with my flea-bitten legs, you know. I waited for them to tear the carpet out, moved back in that weekend, and that's when all the weird stuff started happening. So first thing, number one, I was laying in bed, and it was like pale moonlight coming in my window, and I fell asleep, and right as I went over the threshold of falling, someone brushed their fingers through my hair, kind of like this. I have my hair short now. So they brushed their fingers through my short hair, just like this. And I felt them touch my forehead, so I woke up.
And you said you were falling?
So, yeah, I woke up, and I was like, okay, you know, this is happening. Maybe it was a bug, right? It was just a bug.
It could be more fleas.
So the next night, maybe more fleas, exactly. That makes sense. The next night, my roommate moved in upstairs. There was actually 5 of us living there, but they were moving there day by day through a course of a week, and I was the first one to move in. My roommate moved in, and he was asleep as well as having a night, and he started hearing someone punching the closet door on the second level. So he opened up the closet door, and there's like, you know, 6 inches of space between the wall. It's kind of like something to hold cans in, I guess.
Oh, it's one of those little mini closets.
Right. Yeah. So there's
got no depth at all.
Nobody could fit in the can closet.
In the wall.
So yeah, exactly. So so that was really wild and scary, but we were like, okay, you know, that's funny. So then this guy comes next door. He comes over to our house. He lived next door, and he walked over and he said, guys, I actually moved in next door. I used to live in this house. He said, there's something wrong with the washer. There's something wrong with the shower. But the worst thing is there's a poltergeist. And we all started laughing, you know, me and my jabroni friends. And He was like, no, I'm serious. Like, I'm serious. So I started dating this girl, and she had just came to my like downstairs area of my apartment. She was like, wow, it's really scary down here. Like, this place has like a really negative energy. And I didn't believe in negative energy. I didn't believe in energy at all. I didn't even believe in the sun at the time. You know, I was like, there's no energy. There's no, you know, so I was like, whatever that means. We went to sleep. We were like actually hanging out watching a movie, and we both like fell asleep. And I had this insane dream about this German man, and his wife had this like, this wolf mask, like was her face, and my skin turned to bones. And it was this insane dream. I've never had a dream like that before. But when I woke up to her screaming. And as she's screaming, there's like this hovering like blue light over her, and it disappears. And I was like, what the hell was that? And she's like, I saw this old man. He was like hovering over my body right when you woke up. That's why I started screaming. And it was like probably 5 a.m.
Right.
So, okay, I'm trying to like get my bearings about me. This was kind of weird. Like now I'm starting to believe in.
This is at the same time you're having this weird dream about the German man and his wife in the wolf mask?
Yeah, and there was like a church choir got shot in like in my dream. It was such a weird dream. Like it was really graphic, like scary dream. Like there was like there were aliens in the dream, but like when I say aliens, I'm putting that in quotes because like there were people who looked like you and I guess. But they were obviously from somewhere else, and they were like putting these thoughts in my head. And I remember they kept telling me, like the people at the end of the dream, like, we implanted the thoughts of that German man. We implanted the thoughts of that. And then I woke up to this, which I thought was really weird. So I'm wondering if like maybe I don't know. So, you know, I thought everything's cool. Then my room, things are getting better. Like things are actually getting better. We're having better times in the house. Things were never normal after that though. Like I remember we were all like the vibe of the house was different. But things were getting better. Like there weren't as many weird paranormal things happening in the house. And my roommate wakes up one morning and he's like, hey, I need you to see something. This is really weird. And he has like a full stab wound in his side. And like his bed is like has like blood on it and everything. And I was like, what happened? And he's like, I have no idea. I woke up like this. I'm telling you about like a third of what I can even think of right now. But from the day that the ghost man was over my girlfriend and like or blue light as I saw, you know, and the moon was really bright in that room. You know, it was like moon side. I remember every time the moon hit like a certain spot, I was like, bingo, like I got this perfect light. But like ever since my roommate had the stab wound, like from that day forward, like I said, I need to get out of this house. And
I'm good. I have a ghost story for you and the wider audience.
Yes, please share it with us.
I was at a cabin out in Shenandoah Mountain that I knew from reading ahead of time was fully haunted.
Okay.
It was a cabin called Corbin Cabin, made in the 1800s. And a woman had died there, the wife of Corbin, and in childbirth. And she was said to be a very like kind ghost that watched over people. And of course, I knew this with the other trip leader, and we didn't really think much of it because ghosts we didn't think were real. But then we were so frustrated because we'd come all this way and we'd forgotten butter. And we had talked about it as a team. We're like, this stinks so bad. We forgot the butter. We were so excited to use it the next day. When we're unpacking, we realized we got everything except for the butter. I see Ellen is on. She just joined and she was there. So I'm glad that she's involved.
Witness, that's good.
So she can back me up here. We woke up the next morning. Snow had fallen.
Okay.
We looked out the back door. On top of the snow, probably 30 feet from the house, was a stick of butter, unwrapped, an unwrapped full stick of butter.
Just sitting in the snow.
Ghost butter, some would say.
Did you consume the spectral butter?
I believe we did.
Incredible.
I don't know what that did to me as a person.
Right.
Oh, another part of this is that we were freaked out by that. And then we were like, okay. So, it was all coming out that maybe this thing was haunted. And my friend Cameron said, I saw something. And we're like, okay. And we made him leave the room because clearly haunted. And then we read out loud the description of this woman. So we asked Cameron to come back in, and he described her to the teeth.
No way.
Yeah. Mom is incredulous right now.
How would you describe this woman?
The first word that comes to mind is matronly. She had long,
others are.
right? Long, dark hair. I guess what you would imagine as like an 1800s settler's dress.
Yes. And
yeah, Alex was there too. Alex knows. Dang, all the people are joining who were there.
And
Alex, remember Ghost Butter? Yeah.
I can't believe you've had ghost butter.
And so you and your friends consumed the ghost butter, left to you by this woman who had died in childbirth at this cabin.
Correct.
And so you knew this. You said you knew this place was haunted before you and your friends went out there. Correct?
Correct.
But you said you didn't feel the need to tell all of them.
Yes, correct. I mean, we didn't want to like scare anyone away from a good time.
Okay. And I did not eat the butter. We've got one person who did not eat the butter.
That sounds like the words of a sad ghost.
That's true. The ghost did sacrifice its own spectral butter for your friends.
We don't, I mean, to make it into such a good rectangular prism as she did, she must have worked very hard.
Yes, to materialize it out of its own dimension and into yours. Unless while you were asleep, the ghost created a Disney's Fantasia moment of butter churning.
They did. That's exactly what happened.
There would have needed to be fresh dairy for this to occur, wouldn't there have been?
What's that?
There would have needed to be fresh dairy at this cottage.
It's not happening.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
it's more likely she went to the ghost store.
Oh.
Spectral dairy store.
A spectral dairy store, my mother suggests.
And of course, none of your friends would have gotten it because it was snowing, like you said.
Oh, and you had to hike 7 miles into the cabin. And there were no footprints around it.
Just there, butter in the snow. Spectral butter.
So.
Wow, now that's incredible. That is an incredible story. Do you have any other information you'd like to share with us tonight, Mr. Dolson?
No, that's pretty much it.
No, but there's a cat laying in a really cute way.
Oh yeah, I do have some cute cats.
All right, let's show the people the cats.
Rosie.
Hello.
Look at that one. What a cat.
She's also a ghost.
She's not a ghost cat.
Cats can see ghosts, it's true.
Well, some would say that we all become a cat after our own death.